Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic is War Begins in the Mind and Your Inner Conflict to Create a World of Peace. And our lead speaker is Tanya Sharanova. She is the business coach at Tanya Sharanova Global Corporation, Canada. And the panelist is Travis Joseph. He's Diamond Mind Consulting, USA, from USA. Yeah, that is handed over.
Welcome to the Global World Economic Forum for Women. Are you excited? Yes. Yay! Okay. So this is the last day of the conference. Tomorrow is the final closing ceremonies. I hope you've come and been inspired and received all of the wonderful things that you desired from this conference. Welcome. It never fails that the minute I start, there's like 500 people that try it, so I start with a bit of chit-chat. Okay. So what I'd like to tell you first of all is that in the introduction, I am Tanya Chernova, but I didn't come as Tanya Chernova Global Corp. I came as Courageous Living. And this is a women's global empowerment company that I've had for the last 10 years. And our passion is helping women connect to their power, their purpose, their passion, and helping them also fuel their profits. So this particular course is called The War Begins in the Mind. I should have really named it The Neuroscience of Joy, understanding how to create health, wealth, and prosperity in every area of your life. That's usually the topic we present, but because it was the Global Economic Forum, I decided to do something that kind of united women in their minds. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually a little exercise. I'm going to ask you to put everything that you have in your hands aside, if you could, and put your hands out in front of you. Put your hands out in front of you. I'm going to read some very important statements. Okay? I'm going to read some important statements off a piece of paper, and for every one of these statements that applies to you, please fold in your fingers until all 10 fingers have been folded in. And when they're done, please just put both your arms in the air with your fingers folded. Is that okay? You can participate too. And you. Okay. So I'm going to read these statements. And for every one that is true for you, please fold in your fingers until your hands get closed. I constantly doubt or question myself and mistrust my judgment. I'm scared of being rejected or abandoned. I need the approval from friends, family, and coworkers to feel happy. I am typically unassertive and have a hard time asking for what I want directly. I have the need to be right and can be perceived as aggressive. I often feel guilty and blame myself that everything is somehow my fault. I criticize myself for what I eat and have a hard time enjoying my meals or snacks. I worry about the future and feel anxious in the face of uncertainty. I find it difficult to ask for the money and recognition I deserve. I have a tendency not to act on my desires. It feels like I'm stuck and can't move forward towards what I want because I'm secretly afraid of failure or not being good enough. For every one of these that is true for you, continue to fold your fingers. Okay? I need to be productive and constantly doing something. I'm often taking on more than others do. I'm a perfectionist. I constantly seek to improve and control myself, my environment, and others. If I get too wealthy, I will attract too much attention to myself and feel unsafe and vulnerable. I often feel insecure and nervous when I'm with others. I'm often comparing myself to others and cannot recognize my own strengths, qualities, or successes. I have a hard time bouncing back when I experience a setback or loss in my life. I feel I need to help everyone when it's not my responsibility and feel guilty if I don't help. I feel angry or jealous when I see people that are more successful than I am. I often medicate myself to ease my emotional pain with any of the following: alcohol, drugs, sleeping pills, food, gambling, sex, shopping, TV, internet, or overwork. I'm uncomfortable receiving love or gifts when people go out of their way for me. When I look in the mirror, I see flaws in my appearance first. I feel that what I have to give is not good enough. I never seem satisfied, or it's never enough. I'm uncomfortable expressing my opinion and feelings in my emotional relationships. I have a hard time letting go and relaxing when I'm on vacation or pampering myself. I don't regularly make time in my schedule for activities that support my health and well-being. Just about everybody now. When my partner wants to please me, I often feel too tense or distracted to enjoy it fully. In my life, everyone else's needs are my priority. Once they're taken care of, I make time for myself at the end. Life is difficult. Getting what I want can be such a struggle. Okay, so if you've got, wherever you are now, just put your hands in the air to see how many of you have, okay, so the majority of people, except for the ladies who are Russian in the back, because they're unstoppable. Right? So when we talk about war begins in the mind, right, so you recognize that you've got two fists in the air, and we talk about war begins in the mind. For women in general, what we tend to do is have these types of negative limiting beliefs that create conflict. And what I want to show you is actually how this conflict comes about from our subconscious mind, and then how to turn it around. So if I ask you all of those thoughts that you raised your hands for, what do you think comes first, an emotion or a thought? And a thought comes first. You've all been to enough conferences to know that whatever happens in our mind, the first thing that happens in our life is a thought. And that thought generates a specific emotion. And what is the word that you see inside the word emotion? Motion. Because the way that we feel controls our actions on an energetic, vibrational level in particular. And then those actions create our results. So let me ask you something. Based on the thoughts that you had identified in that list of subconscious beliefs, okay, what feelings do you think those thoughts create in your life? How do you feel when you think those thoughts?
Well, even this right now, I feel sick in my stomach, like, because I'm just saying all this thing, I'm like, geez, I'm not, it's just like.
Yeah, you feel like I'm a mess.
Being in that, like,
Right, don't worry, I'm going to transform it with you, okay? 100%. You're going to leave here feeling elated, right? But it's important for us to understand that the thoughts that we think, you know this, right, create those emotions. And so on a conscious level, when people say, how are you? And you say, how are you? How are you? Fine, right? I'm fine, I'm great, I'm blessed, I'm so grateful. Yeah, I love my life, everything's fantastic, right? So it's important for us to understand that our default response on a conscious level is that I'm fine and I'm great. And it's not like you want to turn around and tell people, I feel really guilty and that somehow everything's my fault. I mean, obviously that's crazy. You're certainly not going to tell people that when they say, how are you? But the reality is that if you look at the underneath of your life, what's happening on a subconscious level is that there's an emotional undercurrent of anxiety, of guilt, of something that's vibrating in a way that's creating the results in your life. So the question becomes, if you think about who you are and the results you have, the book that we wrote a couple of years ago is called Undermine, helping people discover the 7 subconscious beliefs that sabotage their life and how to overcome them. And in the second chapter, we had this test that said your results reveal what's undermined. So looking at every single aspect of your life, asking yourself, do I have the results I want? And are some of the thoughts that I closed my hands for to create that sort of fist in my life, are some of the thoughts that I closed my hand for creating the results in my life? And how can I turn them around? So I'm going to show you a different type of brain programming. But before I do that, I want to share with you that the war in the mind is between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And so to give you a synopsis of it, and basically in terms of its power in the mind or the proportions, it's always likened to an iceberg, right? Where we see the tip of the iceberg, I'm fine, how are you? Fine. Fine. And underneath, things that are hidden from us. And it's not like the only thing programmed in our subconscious is negative. So much of what's programmed in our subconscious is positive. However, the thing that we're talking about is that what is that which creates the conflict. The conflict between you and what you want and the struggle that you feel to get it. So the conscious mind, in summary, is basically the part of your mind that's responsible for the analysis, the strategies, the goals, all of the conscious decisions that you make, that you decide to say, I want more money, I want to travel, I want to fall in love, I want to feel healthier. The decisions that you make as an adult for yourself and your life today. And your subconscious mind is that part of your mind that has your programming. And it basically has your long-term memory, your emotions and feelings, your habits, your addictions, your patterns, which is the most important thing, your involuntary body functions, creativity, the development of your body, and intuition. Okay? And so the way that this works really is to show you that your conscious mind, very simply, is what's called your goal setter. What's it called? Your goal setter. That's the part of you that says, I'm just going to eat salad. I'm just going to come to the WF and I'm just going to eat salad. I'm not going to touch the buffet. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to eat that. Don't touch the croissants. I'm not going to touch the croissants. Healthy. I'm going to eat really well. Right? How many of you have made those promises to yourself? Okay, or whatever it is. I'm not going to go to the market. I'm not going to spend the money. I'm not going to, I'm not going to, or when you get there, you say consciously, I'm going to hand out my business card. I'm going to meet new women. I'm going to stand in front of the, podium. I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to post, right? And then the subconscious part of you that has all your patterns is the part of you that before you can even figure out what's happening, you've eaten it all, right? How did that croissant get down your throat? I don't know. I didn't do it. All the chocolate cake, right? Like, how did you end up with this? And the weird thing is in our life, it's not that we actually just taste a little of it. It's never that we just taste it. It's like, mah, 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 mah. Before you know, you've finished the bag, right? Or before you know, you've hidden yourself from all the people. Your goal here was potentially to come and network, and you find yourself like hiding behind it all. Like, yeah, hi, just me. Yeah, moving over now. Don't pay attention. No, I'm okay with the camera. There's parts of us that are hidden that come out. And why it happens so quickly is because your subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times faster than your conscious mind. It responds faster that you can actually get a hold of it. And you'll know because some parts of you in a conversation get upset. How many of you just lost your mind on someone? And before you know it, you're just yelling and you're like, oh, I'm this terrible person. And you walk away thinking, but I am so peaceful and I am so nice. Why did I become an emotional wreck? Maybe I have PMS. Right? That's what we blame it on a lot of the time. It's probably not that untrue. Okay, so I want you to understand that the reason that the mind goes crazy sometimes is because the brain, the human brain, our natural born brain, is programmed for survival. What's it programmed for? Survival. It's so important for us to remember that because we have to be kinder to ourselves. It's not programmed for $1 million. It's not programmed for your dream man. It's programmed, yes, for procreation, but not your dream man. It'll take anyone. Abusive, lazy, it's good enough. Smells pretty good. All right, let's do it. Okay? So it's important for us to understand that the brain is programmed for survival. And because of that, our subconscious brain is programmed to protect ourselves from that which seems or we perceive as dangerous. And so what happens with our subconscious mind is that the minute that it triggers into a negative pattern, so the moment that we feel scared, the first thing the mind starts to think is scarcity thoughts because the mind starts to shrink. So think of it like if we say, okay, there's a war beginning. What's the first thing that you start thinking? Do I have enough? Yeah, bomb shelter. Do I have enough food? Do I have enough water? Do I have enough protection? And is the answer, what's usually the answer? Do you have enough food and water? Yeah, no, right? Most of the time people are like, I need more. And then they start hoarding. So you'll see that CNN loves to report these things. So years ago, I remember when I still watched television, there was this big scare of the flu, the bird flu coming to the U.S. And I'm Canadian, so we watch it